Hello, welcome to Encore. I'm Richelle Harrison Plesse. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's cinema show. From Hollywood heavyweight Tom Cruise to Jean Dujardin's dopey surfer Brice de Nice, and a touching stop-motion film about growing up as an orphan.
Turn around, mister. Let me see your hands. Slowly.
Brice 3.
And to talk about those films, I'm joined now by our film critic, Ben Croll. Hello, Ben. Good to see you. Now, first up, Tom Cruise is on our big screens again as Jack Reacher in a sequel called Jack Reacher Never Go Back. What do you think? Should fans go back for round two?
Well, if fans do go back for round two, they're going to find something that's, really, really familiar. The Jack Reacher film series is based on the Jack Reacher book series, which in turn is, based on every single 1970s TV series. Jack Reacher is an ex-military cop who drifts from town to town, solving crimes, beating up bad guys, uncovering conspiracies, and then moving on down the line. In this film, he gets involved in a military cover-up, gets framed for murder, and finds himself taking care of a 15-year-old girl who may or may not be his daughter. Let's take a look.
How long are we supposed to do this? I'm getting hungry.
Just be patient.
Hey, where'd he go? You're supposed to be watching him.
What do you think? I've got eyes in the back of my head. How's it going? Don't. Show me. Run back. I don't like being followed.
I swear, Tom Cruise hasn't aged a bit. Now, studios keep pumping out these action blockbusters. How does Jack Reacher stand out from other franchises, or even stand out from other Tom Cruise films? Because, of course, it's certainly not the first time that we've seen him as an action hero.
Well, all of these action franchises have their hook. Famously, James Bond is all about style and sexiness. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible.
Bond girls.
And Bond girls and Bond cars.
Don't forget.
Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible series is about his outlandish stunts and set pieces. The Jack Reacher series is supposed to be about grittiness. He's supposed to be a street fighter, a barroom brawler. But Tom Cruise doesn't really allow himself to be seen that way. Tom Cruise doesn't act in comic book movies, but make no mistake about it, the Jack Reacher that he plays is a superhero. He's always the smartest man in the room, he's the toughest man in any fight, he always has the last word in any conversation. That kind of works against the grittiness of the film, because you never really feel that he's in danger. He's always going to win every situation, he's always going to punch out the bad guy with one hit to the jaw. The result is a film that calls itself a thriller, that doesn't have too many thrills.
Yeah. Well, Tom Cruise, he has his fingers in a lot of different pies. He's produced this film as well.
Oh, yeah. The first credit in the film is a Tom Cruise production, which might be a better title for the film itself. This is the Tom Cruise Show.
Okay, well, moving on to a big French release of the week. Marion Cotillard stars as an emotionally tormented woman with an insatiable sexual appetite in Nicole Garcia's From the Land of the Moon. Her character, Gabrielle, is married off to a man she doesn't love to avoid being sent to a mental hospital. Alexander Orcott has more.
Photographers, fans and the red carpet. Just another day at the office for Marion Cotillard. The French actress shot to global fame when she won an Academy Award for 2007's La Vie en Rose. Since then, the job offers have been coming thick and fast. Between Hollywood and France, she's been working on 6 movies this year. Released this week in France is From the Land of the Moon. In the drama, she plays Gabrielle, a headstrong girl living in a small village in southern France during the 1950s. She feels imprisoned by the constraints of post-war society. Her parents married her off to an honest and loving Spanish farm worker, who they hope will make her respectable.
Ils veulent se débarrasser de moi. Et vous, ils vous ont acheté. J'ai été touchée par ce personnage qui a besoin.
I was touched by this character who needed to live with love, with freedom, but who was locked up until she turned crazy.
jusqu'à la rendre folle.
Her life changes when she's sent away to be treated for kidney stones. It is here that she meets André Sauvage, a wounded veteran of the war in Indochina.
Vous êtes une collègue d'Agostine?
Non, je fais la cure.
Moi, je descends jamais. Avec des malades en bas.
It's as if he's a spark that lights a passionate fire within her. And from that moment on, she only thinks of André Sauvage for the whole time she's recovering, and it takes her 15 years to get over it.
Mon amour.
Gabrielle vows that they will run away together and won't let anyone prevent it from happening. It's a gracious and passionate performance by Marion Cotillard.
When you see her picture, she has something, a glow, a sense of mystery that enables her to carry the film.
French actress is right at the top of a glittering career. Later this year, she's starring in 2 Hollywood movies alongside Brad Pitt and Michael Fassbender.
Well, Ben, Marion Cotillard has done really, really well for herself since winning an Oscar nearly a decade ago. She continues to be very active here, both here and in Hollywood. Why do you think she's so great at juggling both?
Well, aside from the fact that she's beautiful and phenomenally talented.
There's that too.
Yeah, that helps, right? I think her secret is her accent, or lack thereof. She speaks English nearly perfectly with just the faintest trace of almost a nondescript European accent. It allows her to be cast as Polish, as Italian, even as Native American in one kind of misfire American film. But she has an otherworldly, old world elegance and sexiness that I think gives her an edge over many of her American competitor actresses. At the same time, the fact that she's succeeded so well in the United States gives French producers and French casting directors a lot of incentive to cast her in French films that win awards, that play at Cannes, that travel all over the award circuit and make her an even bigger name. She really does have the best of both worlds.
Indeed. Well, another French Oscar winner, but one who's perhaps not had as much success stateside, is Jean Dujardin, once dubbed the French George Clooney. He's back as a dopey surfer in Brice 3, the sequel to 2005's Brice de Nice. Ben, the character is very well known here in France. This time around, he's older, but is he any wiser?
Oh no, if anything, he gets dumber. Dujardin's been playing this character for 20 years. He started him on small cabaret stages, then a big traveling theater show. He played him on French TV in skits and in a 2005 film. But he's always stayed the exact same. He stayed dopey. He stayed a bonehead. He says the same catchphrase over and over and over again. Je t'ai cassé, which I suppose you can translate to, you got burned, or something like that.
So he's not gained any brain cells there.
No, far from it. A lot of the humor and the character comes from knowledge of France. The fact that his name is Brice de Nice. Nice, of course, is a place where there aren't a lot of waves. You have
Right, it's the Mediterranean, so, you know, there's no waves. To be a surfer, it's pretty,
No,
it's a bit silly, isn't it?
And in this really, and in this really silly film, much of the humor comes from knowledge of the character, knowledge of French geography, knowledge of French, because it is a non-stop assault of puns and plays on words. And also knowledge of really French pop culture. The film is called Brice 3, but there is no Brice 2. It's another one of Brice's big, sick burns.
Okay, that's part of the joke.
If you're going to get that joke, though, you need to have seen the first film.
Right.
You need to know French. You need to know French geography. It's all just another sign that it's the kind of film that's going to be extraordinarily appealing to his young fans, Dujardin's young fans in France.
Or people who have grown up with the character.
People who have grown up with the character, but it's not a film that's going to paddle very far into international waters.
Okay, well, and finally, my life as a courgette or my life as a zucchini, depending on where you're from, I suppose. We're having a big debate about the title of that film here at the Culture Team. My Life as a Zucchini is a heart-wrenching stop-motion film that looks at the reality of the orphan experience experience. Critics are raving about it, including you, Ben. Why do you like it?
Yeah, well, call it courgette, call it zucchini, call it whatever you want. This thing is a gem. What I love about this movie is it's so small, it's so subtle. So often you see stop motion films that have to throw in a bad guy, that have to throw in a big challenge, that have, a contest to win, a game, a game to be played. This is just about emotions. It's about a group of orphans whose parents have all died or left them behind, and them having to overcome sadness and sorrows using nothing but the small joys of friendship. It's a really lovely, beautiful film.
It looks like a really sweet film, as you say. It's an animated stop-motion film, as we saw there, but is it a kid's film? I mean, because the subject matter is quite, it's melancholy, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. It's a kid's film in the same way that Peanuts, Charlie Brown, is a kid's show. The emotions are certainly big and broad enough to appeal to kids, but they're also real and well-worn enough that it's going to appeal to pretty much anyone who's ever had one of those emotions. It's a film for children of all ages, to use a very bad cliche.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll leave you with a clip of My Life as a Courgette or My Life as a Zucchini, and it's definitely one film to check out. Thank you again, Ben Croll, for being with us today. For more arts and culture news, check out our website and connect with us on social media. Stay with us. There's lots more coming up on France 24 after this.
Bonjour, madame. Une nouvelle arrivante.